Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future. In any given moment, we have two options: to step forward into growth or to step back into safety. Now, it sounds very solemn, but today I take that first step into growth. And let me tell you, when I say this has been a difficult process, it's been a very difficult process, and one that I didn't anticipate to be as difficult. Over 30 years of collecting for various houses and things that I've kept, things that I've given away, things that I've bought back. It's silly how over time, you'll hand something over to a charity shop or sell it and then find something very similar years to come and you pick the same thing up again. I don't know if anyone else has ever done that, but I know I have. This box is not the first box. If you remember, a few months ago I did start this process, but I have had quite a difficult time with this. Also, there have been some delays with the house in France. I will go into it in a video in detail when I have all the information, but that's been hard on us because that's another delay. But we are procrastinating no longer. Well, I am not procrastinating any longer, and this is the box. I'm casting this as my first box. Most of this box will be going in the garage sale. These horse heads will not. They will be staying with my collection for the time being, but for now, let's start with this box. Now, this particular box has a bit of a mishmash of items in it. I used to collect fur collars, I used to use them for costumes, and I used to make a lot of things for school plays and things like that. So most of the things in here, it's a mixture. This little purse was something that's a proper old vintage purse. The dog got to it when he was a puppy. That will go in the garage sale. I will take the handle off and replace it with something else. These were my dad's driving gloves and his driving hat, so that's going in a place of safety. These were a little pair of, again, for a smaller size than I wear. They were a pair of shoes that I used to have for costuming. So I can put those in the garage sale. This little hat, now I'm not sure whether a mouse got into this box because there's little bits all over everything. Nothing was damaged, or whether something's been put in it and it's disintegrated over time. I'm really not sure. But there are a few items in here that I will be keeping for now. There's a lot of really pretty vintage velvet hats and bags that are from sets that I've kept over the years. Like I said, I've used them for parties and 40s weekends. This was my mum's plate, so this is going, I've been looking for this for a while. This is going to be going in my cabinet. But a lot of the stuff will be going in the garage sale, but some of it I will be selling on privately, I think, because it's not that the value of them, it's I want somebody to appreciate them. These things are dwindling. You don't find these things like you used to. This little hat here, this is years and years old. I picked this up in England like 20 years ago, and you're not finding these little hats and things like this anymore. You just don't. I have a lot of furs. I don't agree with furs, but they're there, and I want to make sure that a lot of them remind me of things that my mom and my grandma had, and so some of these items I'm going to be hanging on to a couple of them and then selling some of them, not so much in the garage sale but privately, again just to get somebody who is going to appreciate them for their age and their sentimental value. I say it's silly, but so I do, like I said, I do have a few fur collars that I've sort of hung on to. This is a lovely old muff that is made of fur. Again, this might be upsetting some people to see fur items, but I haven't killed anything. I'm just preserving what's already out there. But this little purse is something I've used a few times. I've just shoved the paper in to sort of keep its shape. There's quite a few of these that are just from the 40s and the 50s, and they're lovely old items. These are identity cards that would have been used on one of our 40s weekends, so it's nice to hang on to those as well. See, it's little hats like this that I used to see all the time, but you just don't see them anymore. This little fur coat is something, and I've had a lot of these for well over 10 years. This little hat, I think probably from the 60s, little fur hats. I do have a bit of a thing for collecting gloves as well. I just think gloves were a lovely fashion accessory, and some of the gloves that I've got are just gorgeous. These are leather gloves. I suppose these would be kit gloves. They fit up your arm with those lovely little buttons. This is a lovely crocheted apron. I mean, nobody makes these anymore. These items, if somebody doesn't look after them, they're just going to be lost, and it just makes me sad. I have in this box a few different collections, so what I've done is I've sort of pulled everything off and I'll go through them. These first ones are part of my collection of my bow ties. I love a bow tie, not one that's already made, one that you tie yourself, and I've got a really lovely vintage collection of them. Some of them are in the cabinet in the living room. These are ones that I've picked up over time, and again, this is a dying art. Not everyone can tie a proper old bow tie. I can. It takes me a while to do it, but I can do it. And again, it's one of those things that's been lost. You know, I love to see a bow tie. I think it looks so classy and so vintage, but people just don't wear them anymore. This particular one is a silk. It was made in Italy. This is a vintage one. This is when they adapted them to be a little bit easier to wear, and they're on straps. This particular one goes with the cummerbund, and the cummerbund is the broad waist sash. It's usually pleated. You can see it just under my hand. This is another little velvet bow tie. This green velvet bow tie goes with the green velvet cummerbund, and that's the cummerbund there. These I think they were usually worn with single-breasted dinner jackets or tuxedos, and they came from the British military offices in colonial India, that they used to wear them to dress up their dress uniforms. I love them. I've got a few of these as well, but these ones I probably will not be getting rid of in the garage sale. I'll keep a few of them and then sell the rest more privately, again, to somebody who's going to appreciate them, or again use them in costumes and things like that. This is the same box. These are, I think probably these are vintage as opposed to antique gloves. These are more like wedding gloves, probably from the sort of 70s, 80s. I've had gloves. I'm obsessed with gloves. I have gloves for every jacket. Every time I need them, I've got gloves. These ones were my favourites. I used to wear these with a 3/4 length wool coat in the winter time, and I felt so classy when I wore them. These are proper old vintage ones. These are my Jane Austen gloves, I call them. When I wear my Jane Austen outfits for whatever affair that I'm partaking in, this is what I will wear. I love these ones. These are my favourites. Again, most of these I will not be selling in the garage sale. When I have duplicates of them, I will. Again, these are lovely white evening gloves with pearl buttons on them. Just gorgeous. I love them. Again, I'm not going to be selling these. See what I mean about what a hard time I'm having getting rid of stuff? Having said that, I did get rid of a lot of stuff. I've put a lot of stuff in boxes, but I am hanging on to stuff for now. These are soft leather gloves. They're called kit gloves, and these are beautiful as well. And over time, I would have paid pennies for these, like excuse me, under $1. And these were gloves that probably come from the 40s, 50s and 60s. You just don't see them anymore unless they're specialty for weddings or the like. So a lot of these are either silk or leather, and these are another pair of really soft black kit gloves, and various little patterns, different colours, Again, a lot of them I've used in costuming. These are a gorgeous pair. A lot of them are made in France. These were a leather pair with embroidery on. Those were made in France. These are a pair of evening gloves that I have worn on many different occasions. I just love them, and when you put these on, you just feel, I don't know, feel so classy. I just love them all. So most of these are not going to be going in the garage sale. A couple of my old leather gloves I will, but most of them I keep hanging on to for now. Same box. This is part of a collection of mirrors, vanity sets that I have. This one is a pretty one, but I will be putting this in my garage sale. This is a little scarf. It's a vintage scarf, but that one's going to be going in the garage sale. Another vintage hat. Again, that one went with that lovely little velvet purse that the dog got when he was a puppy. And these lovely old vintage braces. I'll probably get those in the garage sale. This is a Italian silk men's scarf, and it's cashmere on the back. I might hang on to that. I don't know though. I'll see. This is a little cravat. These are both made in Italy. This is another fur muff. This is one that came off a coat that I had at one point. I'll probably put that in, and probably this one. Actually, my granddaughter likes these. She likes to play with them. This is an artificial one that came from a little fur muff. I think it was around a sleeve. This is part of a collection of beautiful scarves that I have. Most of them are silk. These are not. So they're very, they look like the Hermes ones, but they're not, obviously. A couple of these are made in Canada. Another one is made in the UK. These will probably go into the garage sale. They're pretty, and I used to use them a lot more than I do now. Same box. These are a couple of collars that I have. I have a collection of pearls and collars, and again, these have all been mixed up over various moves. This is a really lovely Guess vintage purse, back from the days when you didn't have cell phones and everything else. You just needed a tissue and maybe some change. Again, some of these will be going in the garage sale. This is a lovely Italian leather purse. This is a vintage one, and it reminds me of the Birkin bag type of thing. Again, a lot of these are just vintage purses that I've picked up over time. Don't see them like I used to. I mentioned that before. This is one I used a lot. It was such a pretty one. Again, this is another Italian leather one, and I think I'm going to be selling all of these in the garage sale. This is another vintage one from the 40s, I believe. I used this as a costume, part of a costume some years ago. This is an evening purse, probably from the 60s, this one. It's got all those little pearls encrusted. It's very pretty. This is actually the little change purse that goes inside that, which is really cute. Again, you wouldn't fit much in it, maybe just a cell phone these days, but it's really pretty. This is a leather purse that I've had from the 40s. Like I said, I've used that for a couple of different occasions. And this is this is probably one of the very first fossil bags that I ever purchased, and it's just such a nice, like an old messenger bag. I'm going to have a hard time getting rid of this one, I must admit, because it's just so handy and it's timeless. And to buy that now would probably be $300-400, so probably hang on to that one. I just want to have a bit of a disclaimer here. I would never buy fur items. No, I buy these because they have vintage value, and as being a bit of a costumer, and I see there's a lot of value in them. As I said, I wear leather shoes, I buy leather bags, and I think it's okay if you're not adding to the consumption of new items or encouraging new fur items, but I do believe in purchasing existing ones. These were part of a collection that I was gathering based on a fur coat that my mum had in a photo from the sort of 50s, and it was just gorgeous. I do enjoy these furs, and the reason I've had a collection of them was because before COVID I was going to start a wedding business where I have dishes, plates, everything that you need for a wedding, that I was going to rent them out, and then I had a collection of fur coats that was going to be available for the wedding party during winter weddings. But obviously COVID put the kibosh on that, and I stopped my collecting, but I still have a big collection of items that could be used, so I will be selling them probably separately. This is a beautiful corset that I've had for many years, and I just couldn't get rid of it because it was so lovely. This is something I'm definitely keeping. This was the very first Harry Potter cloak that I made for one of the kids. It was all handmade. There was no accessories you could buy at the time, because this was before the franchising of the movie. So as I said, it was all handmade, hand embroidered. It turned out so beautifully. There is no way I will ever be getting rid of that. This is a box of books. They are mainly Christmas and sort of seasonal books. These are two beautiful books. The illustrations are gorgeous, and they are more vintage inspired. Probably hang on to the two Christmas books, but there are various books in there that have just been boxed up for years. There's an Enid Blyton book, there's Beatrix Potter books, there's various things that I'm probably going to be selling most of these in the garage sale, but there's a couple that I will hang on to. Most of them would have come from the UK, and a couple from when the kids were very little, so they're not readily available in Canada or haven't been. So there's a lovely piece of vintage music there from Bing Crosby, the China Rabbit. This one's a little bit water damaged, so that one will go in. I'll put it in a free box at the garage sale. But again, lovely old books that my kids and even now the grandkids have grown out of. Box is one of my many boxes of linens and dishes and dishware that I had for the weddings. People keep telling me to sell them all as a job lot because somebody out there will take them for their wedding. Other friends have told me just to carry on and rent them for weddings, but there's a lot of work involved in that. So I think what I will do, I will see what goes at the garage sale. I'm keeping a couple of items. Some of these are like hand embroidered, and there's just a lot of work that's gone into them, and I do use linens quite often. So I think I will get rid of most of them in the yard sale, keep a select few items, see how they go, and then I may sell them on Facebook or Kijiji as like a job lot, because I do have enough for about 80 guests with teapots, teacups, linens, cutlery, you name it. So it's quite a big collection. This is another lovely piece. I'm hanging on to this one. This is all hand embroidered. I really like that, especially the colours in it. It's very pretty. I do keep all of my really pretty linens in the suitcase that I remade. I bought an old suitcase and put some old labels on it. All of these dishes will be going in the garage sale. I usually bought them in collections of 4, 6 and 8 when I could. There's a lot of 4s, but that whole mix and match idea at these like vintage inspired weddings, I think they look so lovely. Lots of tablecloths, some soft, some like curtain material. So again, most of those will be going in the garage sale, but they're very pretty and they do look nice, even if you're just having tea parties, or you know, we always wanted to open up a tea room again before COVID, but plans change and life takes you in a different direction. This is a lovely old vintage Christmas set. I think I've got 6 of those, but they're luncheon plates as opposed to dinner plates, so they're a little smaller. Lots and lots of linen and embroidered little table runners and napkins, so there's lots to choose from. This is a really beautiful set. It is a gorgeous fine china set. It is so delicate. I have it's not a teapot, it's more like a coffee pot because it's the tall version. That has the lid. I have 4 cups and saucers, a creamer and a sugar bowl. I also have various bone china teacups that when I first started collecting them, honestly, people couldn't give them away. I would spend 25 cents, 50 cents. The most I ever paid for was $1. Now you're lucky if you can find a cup and saucer for under $5. So I will be selling all of these in the yard sale. There's a couple of items, like I said, that I will be hanging on to, but nothing here really. But I will update you as we get closer to the garage sale. There's a couple more boxes I might put into another video, just with the items that are a little bit out of the ordinary. But a lot of these things are beautiful old items that are, you know, have value in their own right. But as I said, I will be showing you the garage sale once it's ready. So look out for one more video. I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next time.